sharp and I'm heading to an old byway I used to drive in my old 90. Piper's Lane, Brasted sharp. But I'm just coming up here to have a bit of a look, see if the lane's open. I don't know. I haven't looked online, see if there's a TRO on it or anything. Last time I came down here, halfway down there's a tree down anyway. But it was a really good little lane. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up here and just see what the signage says. Beware speed humps, byway, and there's no traffic order on them. So it's been driven, I can see by the ruts. We'll just go easy down here. It turns from the track to more of a washed out path, a bit like Holly Hill was the other night, yesterday when we did it. Well, what's left of Holly Hill. We've had some heavy rain over the night. I can see there's a lot of mud splash up on this fence to the side of me. And a lot of puddles, but underneath is pretty rocky. I watched a couple of videos just to see if anyone had filmed this recently. The last one looked to be about 6 years ago. There used to be a character on a quad bike, the One Lung Warrior. Used to do some great byway videos, charting all the byways. Watching for trees along here. I don't want to do any panel damage. I don't remember it being open as that to the golf course, so it's probably come as a bit of a shock to the golfers. I don't remember the golf course. I know Parkwood Golf Course is there over that way, but I didn't realise it come up this far, whether they extended it since I was last down here. Or they've cut the hedges down, the trees down. And then if I have to reverse up due to it getting too narrow or too dangerous for the vehicle, I'll back up. It's still plenty. It's just slow and annoying and very boring. One thing I watch out for is this holly. That really can overgrow and just do a lot of paint damage. So this is how I remember the lane always getting more rutty and that narrowing up. And it's getting very dark because the leaves are on the trees still. And the thing with coming down it is a lot of people tend to prefer coming up byways, so taking a bit of a risk that there could be someone else wanting to do it, but I doubt it today. I've got a feeling this was where I remember I might even see the remnants of the trees, the tree that came down all those years ago. Now they're pitching over quite a bit here. Navy's not too sure, he's looking down at the ground. Hasn't seen it. Again, cameras never do anything any justice. car. I've gone into low range second gear just because it's easier on the descent. Feel the back end slide a bit on their bank there. Needs to be maintained. This is the old Harrow Lane. But this is one of the lanes that's always been a bit as to whether or not people in the houses just do not like this being driven. I don't know if it's even passable as a lane anymore. This lane was top of Bomber's Lane, where an old bomber come down during World War II, but I used to drive this lane. It's really rutted out. The top end of it from the other end is pretty much overgrown, I think. I'm probably only going to be able to do a short bit of this. It's a shame because this is a great byway. It's really, really rutted. I'm probably might park, do this on foot just to, I want to get myself in any situations down in there where I can't turn round. Anyway, it looks alright, so let's have a quick look. Huge ruts below me, I want to straddle this. Tell you what, I think I'm going to back up. This is a great lane to do, but I am going to back up purely because it's not been driven. So what we're going to do, I'm going to leave this here. Me and Nadia go and investigate. Some really deep ruts here. It's flint as well. Some jagged bits of flint. I don't fancy cutting a tyre. I've got a spare, but on this you want a high lifting jack. Yeah, this is really washed out. Tyres, the all-trains will be fine down here. It's not too wet. I've left the landy there at the side of a road. And this is not too steep, but we're sloping downwards, and I'm going to go to the bend at the bottom, and then what I'm going to do is I'll pick the video up. I'm probably going to drive around at the top of this lane. Is a scout hut. I'm going to go up there and park up there. Now, I mean, this would be fine. The land would come down here, but there is where the mud, the clay has washed out. It's left some really jagged bits of flint, but this is a lovely, I mean, this would be brilliant to drive, really would, but I can see there's no one's been down here for such a long time. It takes in some nice bit of countryside in the Cudham Valley. Start the Cudham Valley here, the Sin on top. The Blacksmith's Arms further down the valley, finding its way all the way down to the bottom of Farnborough Hill and Green Street Green on the A21. It's just lovely up here. It's always a really good fun lane, but if we get round this corner, there's nothing overhanging too much either, so wouldn't be any damage to the roof. The other side is a lot different. The ascent back up the other side, I always remember, was very close, very rutty. He's found something, he's in his element down here. But it's a beautiful bit of the valley. A footpath crosses over it and it's clearly marked with the yellow arrows. You can see what I mean by, there's no livestock in this, so we don't need to worry about Nevi being off the lead. It's a beautiful valley as it heads back down. Literally along that tree line at the top, heads down to Cudham. There's a pheasant there, Nevi's on it, there's a pheasant, he knows there's one there. So coming up this side, I'm only going to go so far, probably as far as that other footpath. I'll go as far as this public footpath. I'll probably put a map up where I've stopped. But it's cracking woodland up here, really hilly. But even just looking down there, you can see it's a few fence posts. It starts getting tight as you turn round, especially if you're in a 110 Defender or anything that's a long wheelbase. This is clearly marked a lane. It's the old lane. There's road signs either end of this lane. And I'll make a note of that. Any unsuitable for motor vehicle signage. Hey, pheasant. Where is it? Find it. That looks quite fairly recent, not too long. but this has come down and they've cleared this. So it shows they're trying to keep something open here. And to be fair, there's more than a car's width there. And I know that's not for our benefit, that's more for any agricultural farming equipment, if they wanted to bring it up or down here. So just walking back up to where we parked, under 30, it's not, you feel the sharpness of the flint. So I'm not going to risk it without a buddy wagon, somebody to back me up with plenty of spare tyres. So there are only all-terrains on there. They cope fine. So with the risk of only having one, I don't want to risk it. Even if I had to put the diff lock on, they cope. But it's just not worth the risk today. Not knowing if I can back out there either. Again, I'd want a spotter with me. Right, come on, let's head back up top. Come. We'll go careful up here. I'm just going to crawl away. I don't want to rip a tyre. Some big mounds. It says dead end, but Old Harrow Lane. I can understand local reluctance to having these lanes open because they're prime targets for fly tipping. But this is legal to drive this part because this is a driveway to the old scout hut. So again, a sign unsuitable for motor vehicles. Does not say no motor vehicles. The gates of the scout hut are open, which they weren't the other day when I checked it out. So I will use that opportunity to turn around. Deer running across the field, which is nice to see. Wayland campsite, campground for the scouts. Come on. So I came up here the other day just as a bit of a recce to see whether it was worth coming down. There's a tree stump in there where a tree's come down, done a bit of damage to the fence, overgrown brambles. First part isn't too bad, it's very flat, easily get through here. I wasn't so worried about this part, only that entrance to it. But unlike coming in from the other direction that you just saw, I was able to park and turn round, having only driven a third of it. But I don't know what state this part of the lane is like at the moment. This is lovely and wide, apart from the little entrance, which I'm sure a little bit of bushwhacking could take that down. So buildings just through there still of the scout camp, fenced off, and private land of the farming to my right. So we're starting to descend now into the the fun part of the lane. It's brilliant on a mountain bike. I've done this on my mountain bike. It's really good fun. Hard going when you want to go up the other side because of the loose material on the floor. It's really, you get a lot of wheel spin on the bike. So water coming down from up the top of the hills, washing through here, has taken a lot of this hard flint. Again, we see the sharp, jagged flint because we're at the top of the North Downs, and it gets very, it's all made of chalk. There's a lot of flint. Carry on a bit furder, at least until I can see if some tree roots tend to be slippery on the wheels, but slow and steady. It's not challenging. It's not that challenging. The only things that would always concern me about washed out lanes like this is if you slip and you get thrown into the side or something like that. I mean, that really could do with lopping off to keep it back the right side of the fence. So here we are. We're at the post. This is where I turned. This is where I stopped walking and turned round as we came down this bit of it. So in the last clip where we filmed the byway in Vigo, as I've mentioned, I was driving it cautiously, but as you saw, we got to the end and it hadn't been maintained. People of the houses either side of the little tiny alleyway going through back onto the Pilgrim's Way, an ancient road on the base of the North Downs. That part hadn't been. It was so tight coming through there, and no one's trimmed the bushes to cut them back, keep them maintained, and it was tight to a point where I couldn't reverse up without panel damage, or well, to reverse all the way up that lane would have been nigh on impossible. So that is the reason I walked this one, and we are back at where I turned around just a moment ago and drove back up.